Welcome to our monthly meeting for March, fellow PTK scholars. It is a pleasure to be within such a fine and educated fellowship. For any student curious about transferring to a beautiful four-year institution, today, among our speakers, we are featuring transfer admissions representatives from MTSU. Additionally, we are planning to host a virtual college fair on the 23rd of April. In order to include all of the colleges our scholars would like to see in this fair, our resourceful president, Lily Corley, emailed each of us a short survey asking us what colleges we are interested in. Please, if you have not already filled out that survey, remember to fill it out. Later this evening at 7 p.m., Dr. Ross has carefully prepared our virtual induction ceremony. Please join us to celebrate those who are being newly inducted. Additionally, please mark your calendar for our upcoming Scholarship Showdown on the 16th of April. And now, to introduce our speakers, Mariah Hall.
Hello, everybody. We have two amazing speakers from MTSU with us today. We have Miss Gina, who is the Transfer Enrollment Coordinator over at MTSU, and then we have Miss Judy, who's the Transfer Student Advisor for the MTSU Honors College. And I know I can speak for all of us when I say we are so grateful and very thankful that you both have taken your time to come and speak with us today.
Thank you guys for allowing us the opportunity to be here. So Judy and I are so glad to be able to do this with you on Friday, and that you guys are even available on Fridays for that matter. So we're excited about that. Well, and thank you, Mariah, for that wonderful introduction. I appreciate that. Amazing. You leave me a little, it's a lot to live up to. So we'll see how that goes, but we'll sure try. So again, I am Gina Nair. I'm one of the transfer enrollment coordinators here at MTSU, and we have 4 coordinators, and I think we're all happy to work with every student that comes to us, but really we have territory areas. So I'm just excited to get to work with you guys there at Pellissippi. So and hoping that we MTSU get voted in for that college fair. That sounded really good a minute ago. So hopefully we get a chance to do that with you guys. But I do have a presentation that I really just want to show this morning that talks about the process of being admitted, some of the scholarship opportunities. I did place the dates on this to kind of give you an idea for next year for those maybe thinking about fall 2022. So just kind of, if you're wondering why things look a little bit ahead of schedule there, a little bit of time, but just thought it would be safer that way. And please let me know if you've got any questions, okay? All right, if you guys are okay, well then I'll go ahead and do that, and then Miss Judy can jump in as soon as I'm finished, if that's okay. So, all right, let's fingers crossed and see if this works, and what you guys can see screen-wise. Are you guys able to see the actual PowerPoint or just a different screen? You can, yay, hot tickety. Okie dokie. So this year we sort of changed up our theme a little bit, and we're doing the transfer, sort of a Discover True Blue program that we're thinking about. So for admissions to MTSU, our requirements are a 2.0 GPA and 24 or more earned hours. We are super excited when students are finishing their associate's degree and coming to us. And I think people have asked in the past, why don't we have that as a requirement? We do have quite a few students who transfer to us from four-year schools as well. So that's just why it's not a requirement that the students have it. But we do love it. And our scholarships, you'll see in a minute, are a little bit more geared toward that. So if a student comes to us, though, for some reason, if you want to come to us a little bit earlier and you don't have the 24 hours, let's say you have a 3.0 but 22 hours, then we go back and look at your high school transcript to see if we can get you admitted based on that. So in terms of applying in the admissions process, we have the online application. So that's at apply now. So mtsu.edu/apply now. Okay, so a little bit about this application. There's about 9 screens for this. So I do apologize for that, but it doesn't take too long, I promise, once you get in there. There's a $25 application fee. And the thing I like to point out to students is it takes 24 hours for us to see this application once you've submitted it. So students get very excited, and we're so glad that you're excited and you want to get in there and see if it went through. It'll look like it's not there. but it really is, I promise. It's just in 24 hours, we'll be able to see it, and so can you, okay? So just, do all the stuff and then hang on there and wait for us. So you'll need to submit the application with the $25 application fee, and then we need official transcripts from your high school and your colleges. So let's say, for instance, in high school, you did dual enrollment somewhere else other than Mississippi, so we would need both sets, okay? And when we say official, we mean that it's got to come directly from the school. If you have a copy, that's great. If it's sealed up in an envelope and you've never used it, sure, you can send that to us in a different envelope, in a bigger one. But we do prefer it comes from the schools if you can get it, to have them to send it to us directly. We are able to make the admissions decision once we have all of that. Okay, guys, so it's one of those sit and wait, and sometimes it's one transcript takes longer than the other. So always check in with me and I'll let you know the status and what's going on. Okay, so the big thing in terms of deadlines is for scholarships, and I was looking for fall 2022, we're looking at February 15th, and fall in 2022, that's going to be a Tuesday. So that is the deadline to have everything to us and be admitted, to be considered for a lot of our scholarships, okay, the transfer ones anyways, particularly the Transfer Promise Scholarship. So I really want to have you go ahead and sort of put that in your phone, put that in your calendar, and get that marked in there for next year, okay? And again, we need you admitted, so not just everything here, but admitted, a decision made, okay, by that date, all righty, to be eligible for that. So now when I'm talking about the scholarships, and I really wanted to spend some time on this because how your grades are and everything do, of course, you guys know in your particular organization that does impact some of the scholarships. And I always feel like it's a little, maybe it's a little side job that you might have for scholarship searching and getting a little bit of a side job, because there's a little work involved in that. Our Transfer Promise, we have 4. We'll look at it this way. We have a Transfer Promise Scholarship, and we have the Honors Transfer Fellowship, which Judy's going to be able to definitely give you a lot of good detail about. We have the Phi Theta Kappa scholarships, we have PTK, yay. And then MTSU has some foundation and departmental scholarships. So I definitely want to make sure that you're aware that there are options. I also like to mention that anything that you bring in scholarship wise from outside the university can be stacked on top of any of these. So in our situation, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but if you have a church organization or a community organization, a women's garden club, or local turkey hunters association, sorry, just made that one up, whatever you might find, and you receive that scholarship, you can bring that in, okay, and add that. So I always like to mention that. Fun to do a little search sometime. Those are free, by the way. Don't let anybody scam you into thinking that any scholarship search is not free. Sorry. That's the former guidance counselor talking. Can't help that one. All righty. So for the big scholarship that we do here in our office is the Transfer Promise Scholarship. So you would need to be admitted by that February 15th of 2022. You would need a 3.0 GPA or higher. Higher is always nice, but we're happy with the 3.0. And you would need to complete 60 credit hours, 60 hours, by the time you walk in the door with us that fall of 2022. So the 3.0 would need to be done prior to February 15th, of course, because we would need that on that transcript, but the 60 hours can still be worked on during the spring term of that 2022 and even the summer, okay, if you needed to, as long as we have the transcript showing those 60 hours by the time fall semester starts, okay? And if you meet these requirements, guys, that's a guaranteed scholarship. No extra application, no questions asked, guaranteed $3,000 for 2 years. So divide that up a little bit and you basically get $1,500 a semester for 4 semesters. Okay, so that's a pretty good deal, guys, for guaranteed. Okay, and just want you to keep that in mind. We don't have a limit so far, fingers crossed, on how many of these we can give out. Okay, so just everybody get in there and apply for that. All righty. Now, Judy's going to talk about that too, but I kind of want to briefly say the Honors Transfer Fellowship. This is the highest academic award that we offer transfer students at MTSU. It's very competitive. They'll do about 30 of those for each fall term. And again, the same deadline. Now, it's a little bit different because they have a separate application that's going to have essays. It's a letter of recommendation, an essay, and things. So, there's some steps, but still the deadline's February 15th. Okay, so you want to make sure that you think about that. Theirs is a 3.5 GPA with the 60 hours earned, okay? And the website is there. So I don't want to do much else because I know Ms. Judy's got some good info there, but please think about that one as well, okay? Now, the PTK Scholarship. So I wish we had a ton of these. We have about 5 that we can give out. So we are looking for, and this one, and I still go with February 15th, guys, even though it's technically March 1st, I still say just keep it the same level and everybody think the 15th so you don't have to worry about it. It is a separate application. We are looking for students who have been active. If you were on the, I know I'm going to get that wrong. They like academic team, the all-state team, those are going to be first considered. Okay. And then we do ask for, sorry about this, advisors, we do ask for a letter from the advisors for the student on behalf of the student so that we can have some info and some, what they've been involved with and things like that. And that's $4,000 per year for 2 years. Okay. And then the application is there at the website at mtsu.edu/scholarships/opportunities. Okay. And really the safest thing to do is to apply early. Go ahead and get these applications applied for so that you're not stressed. Okay. I like to think of that fall change season, Halloween kind of time frame of getting all that done so that you're nice and happy and not stressed during big holiday season. Okay. Just a thought there. All righty. And then the other one that I do mention is we have about 700 scholarships through our foundation and departmental area. Please don't worry about filling out 700 different applications. That would stress everybody out. They did used to have to do separate ones, but now it's one application for all of those that you might qualify for. And so I do encourage. Now the neat part is these are stackable with one of the others that you might have earned. So something to keep in mind. So anything you can add to get more, the better off you are. Okay, for scholarships that are the free money that you don't have to pay back. So same website of mtsu.edu/scholarships/opportunities. Okay. And I think students, even returning students to us, have a tendency to maybe forget about these sometimes. One of my best friends, her daughter's a senior. She's actually in the honors college as well. And she looks at these every year. And even if it's $500 here or whatever here or there, that stacks up. Okay, guys. And so keep checking them out. Always continue to look for those. And this is huge. And I want you to be able to see this, even if you can take a picture of this and you'll be able to see this as well. And I can always send the PowerPoint. This is how this sort of stacks up. Okay. How this is sort of done. Transfer promise, $3,000, not stackable. With the others, there's no separate application, deadline the 15th. Honors, 7,000, not stackable. There is a separate application, February 15th. PTK, 4,000, not stackable with the others. Separate application, yes, March 1st, but let's just say the 15th. And then the foundation and departmental, it's all going to vary on those, on the amount. Could be 1,000, could be 500, could be $750. Everything just all kind of depends, and those are stackable as well. Okay, so I love this chart. This is one of my favorite things that we did this year, and because it's just, to me, it really is a good visual for that. Okay, so when people call me and get all excited about the scholarships that they've gotten, I usually, unfortunately, have to say, hang on just a minute. Let me get you to MT One Stop. That is the office here on campus that handles everything financially. So if it has a dollar sign in front of it, well, they may not know that we say that to folks. That's what we say. So if it's a dollar sign in front of it, please reach out to MT One Stop. They are the gurus, and I definitely want to make sure that they're the ones getting you the correct information. You can get to them through their phone, through email, and through a virtual counter. So you can just click into it and get right to somebody through Zoom, which I really, really have loved the added component that they've put in since everything's happened. And so please feel free to check in with them about everything. Even if you've got questions about if you are able to have the Hope Scholarship now and you need to continue that with us at MTSU, making sure that you go through the TSAC portal and all of the things that you need to do to get that kind of stuff transferred over. So these are the folks. So please check them out. And then for me, I'm going to quickly finish that up. So this is my contact information. I would love if you would make sure to take that down so that you guys could reach out to me. Please email me, call, text. I will set up a Zoom. I'll meet you in the middle somewhere of the interstate, whatever might work best, not really in the middle of the interstate. We'll pick a rest area. And so something that would work good. And I can't wait to get back out to the schools to visit you guys. Let me go ahead and click out of this. And so if you guys have any other questions, we can save it to the end. Is that what you guys would prefer? What would, okay. All righty, good deal. Thank you, Miss Judy, all yours.
All right, see if I can talk and click at the same time, but I'm also gonna show a bit of a PowerPoint here with y'all. Let me get it full size. So this is our pretty much standard overview, both of honors and the honors transfer fellowship. And one thing I wanna just make clear as we go through the transfer fellowship, awesome opportunity, definitely good money, you know, to help pay for college. But if you don't get that, we still would love to have you as part of honors. So if you apply for a fellowship, you know, this year, next year, whenever it comes along, and you don't get that, you're still honors eligible and can participate in honors. And then, you know, if you're really active with us, you might be eligible for other scholarships with us down the road. So just know that it's not one or the other. You can be eligible for honors even without the scholarship opportunity. So this is our building. We have our own building here on campus. It's a great place for students. Some of your classes, if you're taking honors classes, will be in here. Not all honors classes are in our building just because there's too many and we don't have that many classrooms inside the building. But you'll see, you know, the bell tower, the ivy, all of that becomes really just symbols of, you know, our group and identity and just a nice place to call home when you're on campus. Coming from a community college to a larger university at first can sometimes feel overwhelming. I was a community college transfer myself back in Arizona when I was in college. And I remember that feeling of, whoa, this is a lot spread out. There's a lot more places to go. Where do I even hang out in between classes? And we welcome you, you know, to make yourself at home in our building. We have different lounge areas, study tables, computers you can use, that type of thing. So do come and check us out when you're on campus. We like the Honors College for, you know, students, even if you're not sure you want to go through and do a whole honors program, to still take advantage of a lot of the opportunities that we have. And so our standard spiel is, you know, our best students with our best faculty in smaller classes that are more interactive. And so you have that feeling then of a large comprehensive university with that smaller, more family unit or smaller liberal arts college feel. And there, you really do get that when you're looking at, you know, a campus of, you know, 18, 19, 20,000 versus an honors college program of 1,000 students or less. And so it does give you a chance to make it feel more homey. Our classes are small. We purposefully make them that way. If it's a freshman or sophomore level class, we're not going to have more than 20 students in it. And for the the junior or senior level classes, those are going to typically be maxed out at 15 students per class. And so we don't really say that honors classes are harder, but rather that they're more interactive. So you're going to have more class discussions. There's going to be a higher expectation of you as a student in the class, that you're going to be participating and giving your opinion and talking with others, that type of thing. But it's not that the material that you're covering is different than what you would cover in another class. It's just usually you're better able to get a better understanding of it because you're able to talk about it more and be more involved in this discussion, rather than sometimes when you're in the bigger lecture halls, it's a more passive learning experience. With honors courses, you have more interaction there. Typically, most students will knock out honors requirements with their general education courses. And so you all being at a community college, a lot of you, especially if you're coming in with a full associate's degree, those are going to be done. And so we'll need to look and see what kind of honors options you have if you're coming in as a junior or senior. But anyone, any major can participate in honors, and we have a couple different options for you that I'll talk about as we go through. We have a lot of different things to get involved in. We have an honors dorm, which is not required, but it is an option if you would like to live on campus and with other honors students. Being a part of honors, having honors courses on your transcript, doing the full honors program is, a prestigious edge that you can have when applying for that next level. If you go through a full honors program and do our honors thesis, I also talk about with students, how do we add this to your professional portfolio, basically, whether this is something that you're showing to a graduate school or putting something together for that you can talk about in your first interviews, after graduation. We have a lot of scholarships, not only the transfer fellowship, but we have other ones for our continuing students. If you want to do study abroad, we have separate funding to help students do study abroad. We have money to help send students to conferences. So lots of different things that we're blessed with because we have good donors that we can help our students get a little more involved and have that added experience without necessarily, having to dig into your own pockets for all of that. We have magazines that you can either, just enjoy by reading, or you can be a part of the staff that puts them together. And then we have our 2 honors organizations that we support through the Honors College, which is ODK and Phi Kappa Phi. So definitely a lot of different ways to get involved. One of the big perks of being in honors is having early registration, which means you get to register in one of the very first groups for your classes. And so you can pretty much guarantee which classes you're going to be able to take in the next semester. And our students really, really enjoy that as they go through. So as a transfer student, and this is just general honors, this is not our scholarship right now, but if you want to just come into the Honors College and take an honors class and hang out with us, as long as you have at least 12 hours already earned in college and a GPA of 3.25 or higher, you are honors eligible. The computer system should automatically code you with that honors code that we require, and you should be able to register for an honors course just like any other honors course out there. Now, if the system's messed up, you just shoot me an email or call me and I'll fix it for you. But beyond that, there's no other special application. Most honors programs or colleges do have an application to be a part of their program. We are a little more open with that in that we want our students really not to have that roadblock of even just trying us out. And so we encourage anyone who's honors eligible to take a class or 2, see if you enjoy it, see if this is a good fit for you. And then if this is something that you want to do a full honors program, as advisors, we'll work with you to make sure that you're getting enough courses along the way to meet those requirements. Then coming in as a transfer student, if you've taken an honors course or a lot of honors courses through Pellissippi, I will count those as honors courses here. They have to be marked as honors courses on your transcript. So make sure if you're doing that everything is clear on there. Sometimes I shoot emails back and forth to different representatives at the other schools to say, hey, this one's not showing up as honors. Is it really honors? And they just confirm it, and then we get it added. But I'll take your previous honors courses. You have an option of either just randomly taking honors courses with us or completing one of 2 options, which I'll talk about here in a second. One is the full honors graduation, and then the other one is called an honors associate. And that honors associate just focuses on our upper division, our 3,000, 4,000, or junior and senior year requirements. And that's 11 hours total that you would have to look at once you come here to MTSU. So the full honors graduation is 29 hours total. 18 of those hours, so 6 of those classes, usually come from freshman and sophomore level courses. And these would be the courses that you would typically transfer into us. And so that's what I'd be looking at with you with your transcript to see what you've already taken as honors. If you don't have enough or you haven't had any at all, that's okay. You can still come and be a part of honors here. And instead, what we focus on then are these 11 hours of upper division courses. But with the 18 hours of lower division, that can be any honors course, any subject, whatever you've been able to take, as long as it says honors on your transcript, I'll count that. With the 11 hours though, we start breaking those down into specific course requirements. And so it ends up being 5 classes total. And I won't go into what each of these classes are just because you don't want to sit through another half hour of that explanation. But this is what I work with you as an advisor to make sure, okay, where do we fit these into your schedule once you come here to MTSU? You don't necessarily have to take them in the order that I have them listed here. We can combine them and move things around. And so we see what works with your other course requirements. But we have 5 classes that you end up taking. 2 of those 5 are our honors thesis requirements. We break up a thesis project into 2 semesters. The first semester, thesis tutorial, you're making a plan for your thesis, writing a proposal. The second semester, you're actually completing the project and presenting it at the end of the semester. The thesis can be a research project or a creative project. Any major can do it. You can look at doing a project even if you're not going on to grad school. Like I said, you can look at projects that are really building that professional portfolio. So for example, we have a lot of recording industry majors here at MTSU. A lot of those probably, at least initially, won't go on to graduate school. They want to go ahead and get into the industry, start working, making connections. And so the traditional idea of a thesis was doing this big research paper that prepared you for the research you would do in grad school. And so before, recording industry majors might have said, well, I don't need that because I'm not going to grad school. But many years ago, we added on the creative option for our thesis projects. And with that now, I have students that are recording albums or doing specific technology things within their studios over there to get more experience with that, who are looking at, how did the music business do certain programs work, management issues, advertising, promotion, tours. And so these then become different things that when they go and talk to these record companies, they can say, this is a specific example of something I've been able to do related to what you're doing in your company that I worked on as an independent project. I did time management, I did problem solving, I had communication experience, and all these different things that sometimes are really hard to define as you're freshly coming out of college, of different ways that you are, prepared to take on these jobs. And so I do like the thesis experience, not only in the traditional research sense, but how do we prepare you for the next level, whatever that may be. You get to decide the thesis topic, wide open, sky's the limit on it. You do get a faculty mentor to help direct your thesis, and then us within the Honors College that help you throughout that process as well. In addition to taking honors courses at your current institution, or if you've transferred to a couple different places, I'll look at previous institutions too. I can also go back to high school with you and look at, did you get AP credit? Did you do a Tennessee's Governor School? Did you go to an IB school? And there's different ways I can give you honors credit through there as well. So those are things I would talk with you individually about, but know that we have a lot of different ways of trying to put together enough hours if you are looking at that full honors graduation. The transfer fellowship, as Gina said, is a $7,000 if you look at both semesters, so $3,500 per semester, and it goes for 4 semesters. We do have a higher requirement to apply to this fellowship, the scholarship, than we do just general honors. So remember, just regular honors, no money attached, is a 3.25 or higher. To apply for the transfer fellowship, though, you need to have a 3.5 at the time of applying for the scholarship. So like Ms. Gina said, for even applying to MTSU, you need that GPA at the time you apply. Same thing for this. So if you're hoping to get a 3.5 at the end of the semester, we'll still look at your application, but it's better for you to have that 3.5 at the point of application. And then once you get here, you need 60 hours. So same thing, you can be finishing those 60 hours in the spring semester or even over the summer, but we want to make sure that you have 60 hours left once you get here. Now, if you're coming in with way more than 60 hours, as many of my transfer students do, that's fine. But you probably will still have at least 3 to 4 semesters left at MTSU just to meet the 4-year institution requirements. It is a separate application. It's February 15th of each fall or for each year. So for this coming fall, if you're coming here fall 21, the application deadline has already passed. If any in this group have applied for it, we are finalizing our decisions and hope to start contacting students next week. So you know one way or the other if you got it. But if you're looking for next year or down the road, just keep in mind our deadline is the same as all the other admission deadlines. The separate application, I think I have a little bit on here. We do have it on our website. It's actually still up on our website, pretty easy to find right now because I haven't moved it yet. But if you just go to mtsu/honors, I'm pointing at my screen like you can see what I'm pointing at. But on the left-hand side, you'll see the link for transfer fellowship. Click on that, read through all of that. You won't be able to access the application right now because it is down, but I am happy to send you what that application looks like. I can send it to you all as faculty there so you can share it with your students. Ms. Gina usually has a copy of it as well, and it's not a secret application, but what we look at is what have you been involved in? Activities, organizations, work, a lot of those different things. We want to see what you've been involved with since you've started college, recognitions or awards that you've received, and then what you're interested in pursuing education-wise or research or creative project-wise once you're here at MTSU. The essay component that we have is centered around what kind of project you might want to pursue that might be your thesis project. We won't make you do that specific project, like that's not set in stone, but it's just to get you an idea of something that might be interesting for you to do since the transfer fellowship would require that you do a thesis. 2 letters of recommendation, either from your current faculty that you're working with, previous ones that you've had before. If you really struggle to find 2 people, then you can do like an employer or some type of community organizer that you might work with. And then we want, sorry, allergies are horrible here. We want also a copy of your transcripts. It does not have to be official for this application here. You can just do a screenshot or a cut and paste, you know, something, you know, we call it pipeline. You probably have your own thing that you log in to register and look at your grades. You can take it off of there and attach it to your application. We like that just as part of the committee, but I don't want you to have to pay to send for transcripts both to the MTSU admissions office and to me. So for my purposes, unofficial is fine. If for some reason, because sometimes I have students who have been to a lot of schools and maybe you're an older adult and you're coming back to school and you have courses from 20 years ago and it was really hard for you to get that even to the MTSU admissions office. Let me know that admissions has it. I have a way of jumping into the system, grabbing a copy of it, attaching it to your application. So just be in communication with us if the transcripts are an issue or not. But it's those items that you put together. It's an online application. Your recommendation letters, you can either get those directly from the recommenders and attach them to the application, or if the recommenders feel more comfortable sending them to us directly, they can do that through email or regular mail, whatever works best for them. But that's pretty much it as far as the application process is concerned. It's due by February 15th. We typically have decisions by end of March, and then students have until May to accept or decline the scholarship. And then when you come in, if you are given a transfer fellowship, then you are at least, I'm going to go back here. You're at least doing these 11 hours with me as a transfer fellow. If you have other ones and you can do the full honors program, great. You can apply for the transfer fellowship without ever having taken an honors course before. We do award it to both people who have had previous honors and people who've never done honors before but want to do honors here at MTSU. So there is some flexibility, but there are requirements that come with the money as far as our courses are concerned. And we'll go over questions here in a minute. I think this is about it. Oh, I do like to share this screen. Just because I know for me as a student and now as a mom of someone who almost is in college, you want to see how much it costs and what you're preparing for. And so I'll explain this screen here. On the left-hand side, the regular qualified transfer promise. So that means you applied to MTSU, you got on time, everything in, you have a 3.0 or higher, you have 60 hours by the time you get here, and you have the transfer promise. Right now in 2021, that our tuition and fees, TNF, $4,712. That's what it costs to take 5 classes here in a semester if you're paying in-state tuition. So that transfer fellowship covers $1,500. If you're lucky to get the TELS Hope Lottery Scholarship, then once you're here as a junior, you should be getting $2,250. And so that means for a semester, if nothing else you have in financial aid, you would owe about $962 for that semester. Now you might have a lot of other financial aid and there might be enough to cover that, but it's good to kind of see, okay, from guaranteed things out there through Transfer Promise and my Hope Lottery Scholarship, how much does that cover? On the right-hand side, you'll see if you're able to get the transfer fellowship through honors, because we give you more money, then you actually get a refund. So between what we cover through the honors scholarship and what you get through your Hope Lottery, then you still have about another $1,000 or so per semester to help cover other expenses. And you can use that however it's needed. So if you are paying for dorms, you're living off campus, you just want to put it in your bank account and use it, you can do that from there. So this, once again, Miss Gina said it best, MT One Stop is the best person to talk to, or people to talk to, as far as what does this look like for me specifically? What am I qualified for? What forms do I need to fill out to make sure my Hope Lottery comes over? Do I get Pell Grant? Are there any other things that I can get? So you want to talk to them, but at least to kind of give you an idea of what it might cost to come to MTSU as a full-time student with certain criteria, either as just a general transfer student, or if you're one of our honors transfer fellows, we like to share that. We also have a fellowships office, and I'll go over this just real quickly, but you do not have to be involved in honors at all to take advantage of this fellowships office. So if you're interested in national or international opportunities, both while you're still in school or maybe after you graduate, we have an office and staff who will talk to you about different things that you're interested in and see if there's different programs out there that might match up to you. So for example, REU, Research Experiences for Undergraduates. If you're in a STEM major, there's tons of schools all over the country that do summer research programs that have National Science Foundation grants and will pay you as a student to join their research team. They pay for your expenses to get out there, a living stipend, and it's like a job basically to do research over the summer. But you have to apply to these things. And you know, applications are tricky. There's essays to write. What do I put in these different forms? Can someone tell me if I'm doing this right? Well, that's why we have our fellowships office. We'll walk you through the steps of what it takes to apply for certain opportunities. We'll read your application materials and give you suggestions. And for a lot of these, our staff have served on selection committees, and so they know what other selection committees are looking at when it comes to these applications. So they'll make sure that you're checking all the boxes to get your application looked at and considered. So it's not a guarantee you'll be accepted, but it's certainly more likely if you've had help and someone looking at that application with you, that you're going to have a better chance of getting into one of these options and opportunities. So definitely chat with us about this, even if you decide, no, I'm too busy for honors, or I have other things I want to focus on, but that sounds interesting, then definitely come and talk to us about these things as well. That's my information. It's Judy Al-Bakri. It's okay if you mess up my last name, everybody does. And I'm happy to chat with you at any point. You can call me Judy. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. So I don't even play one on TV. But you can email me, call me, and I am happy to talk with you now before you get here. We can look at your options. If you're looking at applying for next year for the fellowship and you have questions about that, email me, call me, I'll walk you through it. Or once definitely you're here on campus, I'd love to sit and talk with you and look at what options are best for you for honors. So I think that's about it on my end. And we can open it up for questions.
So there are a couple of general questions that we have over here in the chat. The first question is, what major sees the most incoming students each year?
Ooh.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know that necessarily. Now I can give you a rough estimate of my opinion. Our MTSU has some signature programs. Aerospace is definitely one of them. Recording industry is one of them. If I look at just how busy other advisors are on campus, generally our science people get a lot of people in, and then our behavioral health sciences get a lot of people in. So, you know, psychology or social work, criminal justice, a lot of those different areas. So it's pretty spread out though. Gina, do you have the number of majors we have on the top of your head?
We have about 180 majors. So getting to the specifics of that part, but Judy hit it pretty close. Every year we try to do kind of get a top 3, 4, 5, usually psychology, business. And then you're right. And a lot of our behavioral and health is really kicking up there. Criminology, criminal justice, you know. So yeah, so those are some that are kicking, but I think our biggest usually you'll see is like the business area, because there's so many different concentrations within that our college of business, because you can do anything from insurance and risk management to finance to accounting to actuarial science. So you know what I mean? There's a lot of different, yeah. So those are kind of the biggies. Guys, I'm sorry, I'm a former educator in the sense of both my degrees are education, and MTSU was founded in 1911 as a college of education, as a school to teach teachers. So please don't forget that part. I like to toss that out there. But we have some fabulous programs. On our website, mtsu.edu/programs, you can see all 180 of them, give or take, and they're alphabetical. So when you click on it, you're going to be able to get information on the type of careers that each of those majors have, the requirements for each of those majors, and even academic advisors for those. So if you'd like to click on that and chat with somebody, they can even do that for you there. So, good question though. We don't get that one much.
All right. And next we have, which department offers the most in transfer scholarships?
Okay, another good question. I mean, again, honors has the highest academic award that we have specifically for that, for the school, but there are departmental scholarships within our foundation department office. So that would, but it's hard to know without literally going through all 700 of those to know which one has a department that, I'm so sorry, that has a department that has the most. I think it would just be checking with the departments and finding out, because a lot of them have some that might not even be listed there. They might have them that's through the department itself, or even some companies that department might have connections with or something. So, you know, sorry about that, Judy. I can't think of a specific.
Yeah, I would just say, like with honors, we're not looking for specific majors when we're giving out our awards. If anything, we're looking to spread it out. So we're not going to have like all science majors or something like that. So we do like a diverse group coming in, and diversity in a lot of different ways. And one of those ways is, you know, with majors and different interest areas that you have. But yeah, like Jan said, it's the transfer promise covers all majors, the honors transfer fellowship, all majors, Ptk scholarship, all majors. So then it's just looking at those foundational scholarships and doing that nice one application. It's a pretty long one, but at least you only have to fill it out once. and the computer system auto matches you with a lot of different opportunities. And those can be stacked. So if you get my scholarship and a foundation department scholarship, that's more money for you. And so it's definitely worth your time to fill out that application form.
Please, I think students just sort of really kind of forget about it, but please don't, try to keep that in mind, because anything you can add to it, and like I said before, anything you can bring from outside the university as well is something that we encourage too. So feel free to check out the free sites.
We have another question, and it's, are there any remaining opportunities for those who might be looking to transfer this fall or next spring, other than the ones that were already mentioned?
Gotcha. Good question. For the students that are coming for the fall, of course, you can tell we've missed those big deadlines, but I do want to point out again, anything you bring in from outside, okay, the university. So I always recommend students go to, we have a wonderful center here. It's called the June Anderson Center for Women and Non-Traditional Students. And they have a wonderful page on their website of links of different places to go, okay, to do some scholarships. Fastweb.com, which was one I always recommended when I was a high school guidance counselor, because you could do a profile, it's free, and it matches you up with ones as well. But the June Anderson Center, Megan, who is the director there, has a ton of different opportunities. So I'd encourage you to do that. Check out our website. You can just do mtsu.edu. And what I do is my cheat on there on our website. There's a little thing that says A to Z. I just go to that and then click J for June Anderson Center, and you can hunt it up and go that way. I don't know, it's a little bit easier in my opinion, because you have to type in June Anderson. And so you can look that way and find a lot of them. So again, anything you bring in, you definitely do. Please don't forget though, to make sure that you have your FAFSA sent in, and that, again, if you're doing the hope that you've got all the stuff that's continuing, so yes, there are still opportunities. It's just making sure that you're having all those others in a row. So good question. Yep. I don't know if you guys have thought, I really kind of want to really quickly, but yet not, mention housing. I don't know if anybody's kind of even thought of that as a possibility. We are excited that for this coming fall, we are going to be back to full strength for on-campus housing. We had been at half capacity due to COVID, so we're very excited that we're going to be back. That definitely helps out. As a tip for those of you that are looking for the future, of course, now the application's available out there. They do ask that you be admitted to the university prior to doing your housing application. I think that's probably a really good idea when you think about that. They have an application that's separate from ours, admissions, and there is a $350 prepayment that goes with that application, okay? But they do prefer that you're admitted. So they open that up at the very end of January for this next fall and spring. Again, if you're looking at 2022, same kind of thing, they'll open it up in January. So the sooner that you're admitted, the sooner you can apply for scholarships and then housing. So just kind of something to think about. We have about 22,000 students altogether here at MTSU, but we have housing for 3,000 students. So when I say first come, first serve, guys, that's exactly what I mean. And I mean, get it, it's almost like trying to get those airplane reservations of getting booking right there at 2 seconds before the thing opens, that you're sitting there right there trying to get to it. It doesn't mean that you can't get it if you apply later. That's not the case. It's just that it's always a good idea to do that. Now, because of that limited number that we have, our housing department has an awesome, and I mean really awesome, relationship with our off-campus nearby apartment complexes, to the point where this year we even had like a job fair, career fair, I don't know, college fair concept, but it was really all online, and it was all the local apartment complexes, so that you could go and browse virtually and talk to them about their amenities, I guess you could say. And quite a few of those even have a bus system at their apartment complex that'll take the students to our campus, and then you get on our bus system within the campus. And so technically, if you work it out right, you might not even have to drive your car to and from campus, which is always nice. So I just don't want students to think that, housing's not doable. It just, it may be a close by location that's like 5 steps from campus. We just don't happen to own those. So I always try to mention that, but I want you to kind of put that in as another thought of why to do things early. So, any other questions? You've got some good ones.
How is MTSU handling or approaching safety precautions related to COVID-19 in the fall?
Gotcha. They've, I think really, of course, we're continuing to do what we have been doing in the sense that even though the mask ban for the county has been lifted, here on the university, it is all still required. Social distancing is still required. Mask in and out of classrooms, everything is still required. The summer courses are going to remain remote and virtual. Our fall courses are planned and scheduled at this point to be pretty much back on campus. That is the plan that has been put out there. So I think we've also gotten fairly comfortable with the thing that plans change. But the plan right now is to be back on campus. Now, again, still with those, with those precautions of the masking and the distancing, because we've seen that. Some of the things that have changed that it never dawned on me to change were like our food courts, and that instead of being able to sort of sit and everybody hang out, it's get it all to go, and then, you're able to go sit outside or back in your dorm room or wherever it is that you may want to go. So there have been some interesting changes that I didn't even think about that they would need to do. But I think they've done a fabulous job trying to get that. And lots of cleaning. I'm just going to be honest, a lot of cleaning. A lot of hand sanitizer, but I think they've done a good job. They are slowly opening it back up for us to do events on campus. I'm the advisor for the Tau Sigma group, which is our National Transfer Honor Society. So you might think about that in the future, put a plug in for that. And we are crossing our fingers going to have an on-campus induction ceremony if we have the number. Yeah. So all hoping for that one at the end of April. But just gonna have to wait and see on that. But they're trying to slowly bring us back to being able to be back on campus. So we're excited. I don't know about Judy, but it's kind of, I miss seeing the students. Now parking is great. I'm gonna be honest. Parking's really nice. But I miss seeing just students everywhere and having to dodge somebody on a skateboard or skates or whatever. But
We still have a small number of students that will come in and use our facilities in the building. So it's good to see them when they're coming in. A lot of my advising appointments are just like this, through Zoom. So I think I like Zoom for the convenience for you all, especially for my commuter students who aren't necessarily on campus every day. But I'm looking forward to having people in my office again without having to wear this thing over my mask at this
big thing of plexiglass in front, yeah.
So we do have a great health services department building here too. We're already doing vaccines for anyone 18 and up at this point. So, and those are free and students can get on the list and get that vaccine here. I had mine a few weeks or maybe 2 weeks ago or so, and it was real easy process going through our health services. So hopefully, if you haven't had a chance to get it before coming to campus and you don't have a reason not to get a vaccine, that would be something you can look at and get it here if needed.
Yeah, I got mine yesterday. Was my 14-day window, so I should be all good. I know, exciting. Something else that we did with our campus tours that come out of our building is we really kind of changed how that whole thing worked. And we're due 6 days a week, but they're smaller groups. There's a lot more opportunities for the tours, but they're smaller groups. Everybody has to wear a mask. Our tour guides now have headphones and a microphone. So they're very like we're at an official, Smithsonian sort of kind of place, and they're all walking around doing their thing. We don't have as many opportunities to go inside buildings as we did. So there were a lot of things that we did to try to keep things safer, but yet still try to give you that tour of campus. We are hoping that they're going to let us go back into some of the buildings soon. But, again, it's really still getting that feel for coming to campus. And that's the thing that I want to encourage everybody to do. Our virtual tour is fabulous. You get to see the dairy, you get to see some of the horses, you see the vineyard, you get to see neat things on our virtual tour, but physically coming and seeing how you feel once you step onto the campus, I think is the big thing. So please do that if you can, Monday through Saturday. But you do have to wear your mask inside and outside. So and small groups of like 10, I think. So they're trying anyways.
So is it a requirement for students to be vaccinated to attend classes on campus?
Not that I've heard of at this
No.
point. I think it's just highly recommended. So,
Yeah, they haven't put that out there. I don't really see them doing that.
yeah.
The
The only thing I could ever see, and this is just my opinion, okay, this is not official wording, but they might require it for dorms, but I mean, even that, I don't know. They do require, like the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, chickenpox, and
meningitis.
for the dorms that you don't otherwise have to have for classes. So just be asking about that, I guess, is the biggest thing to recommend.
I haven't heard of it, but I agree, Judy. I think the only group I would think of that if they were to decide to would be the students in on-campus housing, because they have a meningitis one that the other students don't have to have. So I don't, yeah. So that's interesting. Now, if you're completely online, of course, then, you're not here. So no worries. But for those of us that are here, even, part-time, full-time, yeah. And they haven't required it for staff and faculty. So good question, though. I'm liking these questions. You guys are doing good. Anything?
Anything else?
He's scouring the list.
I think that'll be all from us today.
Thank you all so much. Adam, do you want to go ahead and close us up?
Great. Thank you guys for letting us be here today. We really appreciate it. Let us know if you have any questions.
Adam, make sure you unmute. Yep.
Yes, I had to unmute myself. I apologize about that. We have welcomed in the spring with a fantastic meeting featuring 2 distinguished mission representatives from MTSU that have engaged us about their transfer program and honors college. In addition, we have had time for both questions and general conversation. Fortunately, the day's Ptk Fellowship is not over yet. Tonight, we can celebrate the induction of many new members of our celebrated organization, Alpha Theta Xi Phi Theta Kappa. At 7 p.m., we will have a watch party as we all enjoy the presentation of our official curated induction ceremony. On the 16th of April, we will have our scholarship showdown. Please mark it on your calendar. Finally, on the 23rd of April, we are planning to host a virtual college fair. Please fill out the survey our fine president, Lily Corley, has sent you. Thank you for your participation and attendance, and another thank you to our MTSU representatives. Bye.